Awesome. So we're going to give it a few minutes. I know I had some other people that were joining me maybe for the first time or new to class as well. So we'll give everybody an opportunity to get logged in. But those of us that are already here, my regulars, you know the routine. You got your props ready. You got your doggies ready. Everybody's ready for their yogas. If you're new to me, I'm not going to incorporate any specific yoga props, but if you have them, please use them. So if you have blocks, bolsters, yoga belts, bring those into your space so they're nearby. Couple things I would like you to have that you can find around the house are just a pillow, a throw pillow from your bed. This is gonna be nice for a little extra support. A throw blanket, if you have it, small or big, we'll use this as a little extra support. And a bath towel. So this can also act as a nice prop. And one thing I forgot I want us to have is if you have a yoga block, that's fine. Cork yoga blocks would be better because they'll be heavy. But if you can find a larger size book, I'm going to go grab mine.
He says, what do you mean?
You heard me, you're going out.
So this morning's class, we're going to start with abdominal breathing, diaphragmic breathing, otherwise known as yogic breathing. And a heavy book or a heavy type of prop will help us with that type of breathing. And of course, anything I suggest today, if it doesn't feel comfortable or you have another variation or modification you'd like to practice, please do so. It's your body, your practice. We each make it work for us. Every day is a new day, so we often wake up feeling things differently from day to day, and that is fine. Awesome, we got more people joining us. Good morning, Glenda, Kathy, Dawn, Kyla. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing that right. Welcome, everybody. Good to see you. I'm going to give it just another minute because we have other people trying to log in. Good morning. If you're new to me or new to yoga, you can let me know. You can chat me by using the little chat box at the bottom of your screen. If there's anything you think I need to know. I move at hopefully, good morning, a pace that we can continue to breathe and feel safe and comfortable. So if we ever need to take a break and just pause in our practice, please do so. We don't want to force or strain our body. We want to practice a pleasant and steady asana.
Don't push it.
All right, still got some people coming in. Good morning, everybody. Jyoti, Michelle, welcome. So happy to have everyone this morning.
He's looking for that person who's talking.
So I thought today we would, I like to do a little bit of everything as usual. We'll just, again, take our practice into more of a moving meditation, connecting to our body, our breath, our mind, bringing all those things back together, relieving stress, tension in our mind, in our body, and just starting our day with some good stuff. If you are taking care of anything, like I said earlier, modify, adjust your practice accordingly. All right, so I'm going to move towards my mat and we'll get started. So I am going to put everybody on mute, but you are welcome to unmute yourself at any time you have comments or questions, or please use our little chat box at the bottom because I do keep an eye on all of us. All right, let's get going. So my name's Joanne, by the way. So welcome to class. We are going to start in a gentle supported pose using some of the props that we just gathered from around the house. If you were just joining us, I ask that you grab some type of pillow from your bed, cushion, doesn't really matter. We're going to put that towards the front of our mat and our legs are going to go over top of that. I also ask that you grab a towel and a blanket. So a nice size bath towel and just a throw blanket would be fine. And then a heavy book or some type of heavy prop. If you have a yoga block, that's fine. So this is going to be a gentle supported pose. It's going to help open the chest and the area across our heart. It will help improve our posture. So if you're like me and you spend all day hunched over a computer, this will really help open up across the shoulders, elevate our upper back. And so that should feel good for most of us. And then we're going to place our prop on our belly to start with our pranayama. Depending on how high up we would like to be this morning, we will choose accordingly. So if we want a more gentle lift, we'll take our bath towel, fold it in half, fold it lengthwise, long side to long side, and you'll have this longer triangular fold. I'm actually going to take mine and do a tri-fold. So I'm going to fold it about a third in and a third over. So I have a skinnier rectangle. That's going to make it a little higher as well. And this prop is going to go to the back of our mat, and it's going to be supporting our low back, mid back, upper back, and our head. So I want our head to be supported. If you want a little bit more, you can use the blanket. It will lift you up a little bit higher, maybe give you a little bit more cushion. But I am going to have us practicing our abdominal breathing, so we don't want to be too elevated in the chest, or you won't get that big, powerful breath in the belly. We will make our way down onto our backs here. So we're going to be sitting on our mat. I want the buttocks on the ground here. And if you don't have yoga mats today, you'll be on a blanket, some carpeting if you're on a harder floor surface. And you'll have a little bit of space between your low back and our towel and or our blanket. You may slide it a little closer if you want a little bit more support for that low back. And we're going to ease our way down. Ideally, our shoulders will fall off the edge of our prop. We'll be cactusing our arms. That means we're going to bend at the elbows, bringing the upper arm bones to the ground, and then allowing the backs of the hands to flop to the floor as well. We might need our hands here for a moment for the legs. So let me go over some options for the legs. One is to simply extend the legs over our pillow. Let the feet be nice and wide and just let the feet flop open in more of a shavasana. If it feels better for our low back to keep the knees bent, take the soles of the feet to the floor, bring the knees together, and the pillow can act as a little assistant behind the knee creases. And I know some of you like to go into the hips right away. You're welcome to take Supta Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose with the soles of the feet touching and the knees opening. So choices, you got to decide, figure out what works best for you today. Again, the arms, if the hands don't easily fall to the floor, that's quite common, usually just due to tight muscles or a little rounding through our upper back. But after a few rounds of some deep breathing, those muscles might start to lengthen and stretch, and we'll get a little bit more space to move there. Rock the head out side to side, finding the very back center of the skull. Loosen things up, make all of our adjustments here in the beginning, because then we're going to press the pause button. And one more thing I forgot. Sorry, guys. Got ahead of myself. Take your book or your prop before we get too comfortable and place it on the low belly. Just go ahead and place it there for now so we don't have to try to reach for it later. And then we're going to come back. And once we're in position and we're comfortable, we'll close our eyes. Just take a smooth, deep breath here, in and out through the nose. And start to feel the whole body relax. Starting our practice by turning our attention inward. Taking a few moments to scan the body, to feel the breath. Let a quality of heaviness come over the whole body. Relax the muscles, loosen the joints. Feel free to poof the cheeks with air, swallow a couple times. Loosen up around the mouth, the tongue, and the jaw. And then we'll begin to mentally move through our body from the crown of the head down and out to the fingertips and all the way down into the toes. As we're scanning our body, we are purposely, consciously letting go of any unnecessary tension or tightness we might find. We'll also acknowledge any areas that we might be healing or taking care of this morning. And we'll honor those areas by allowing them to relax, remembering that we'll make the appropriate adjustments and modifications for ourselves today. And now let's spread that awareness to the rhythm of our natural breath. So simply observe and watch the body breathe. Observe the body inhale and observe and watch the exhale. Now we are trying to breathe as smoothly and evenly as possible in and out through the nose. You might begin to notice that the body naturally expands as we fill ourselves up with fresh air, prana, and energy this morning. And the body naturally contracts as we exhale and we let go of stale old air and energy. So now we'll begin to try to deepen this breath and move into our yogic breathing, our diaphragmic pranayama. So we'll concentrate now around the navel center and the abdomen. When we get to our next inhale and we breathe in, we will relax our abdominal muscles completely and allow the belly to inflate, trying to lift our prop up towards the ceiling. When we get to our exhale, we may simply allow the weight of our prop to drop back down into the body, or add a gentle contraction to the abdominal muscles, pulling them in, navel towards the spine. As we inhale, we relax, the belly expands. We're lifting our prop up towards the ceiling. This allows the diaphragm to drop down to really fill the lungs. And on the exhale, belly falls back down into the body, gentle contraction, pulling the belly in. This pushes the diaphragm up, helping to expel the air out of the lungs. Move at a comfortable rhythm with your breath and body. We'll also add our layer of Samavritti pranayama, which means even or equal breathing. So the next time we get to an inhale, we will mentally count the number that we're breathing in. When we get to our exhale, we will try to breathe out the same number. For example, if we're inhaling to a count of 1, 2, 3, we will exhale back out for 1, 2, 3. Everything else is very relaxed. Mind concentrated on the movement of the belly with the breath. Over time, we may begin to lengthen this breath, adding 1 or 2 counts to both the inhale and the exhale. And then we're all going to cycle through one more complete breath. Let go of the count. Just try to make this breath our biggest breath of our day yet. So on that next inhale, we're going to breathe in. We're going to let the belly expand. We're going to continue to fill the body. We'll feel the rib cage expand, the chest rise even more, and breathe in as much air as you possibly can, filling the body all the way up to the brim in the throat. And then on the exhale, start slowly, gently exhaling the air all the way back out. We're gonna put some effort into this exhale. The exhale is just as important as the inhale. So take the time to contract and empty, empty, empty every last drop till we can no longer exhale. And then gently and slowly we'll let go of trying to control and follow our breath for a moment. So the breath will go wherever it wants. Start to notice and feel the body again, the contact points with the body and the floor and the props. Let's start to breathe some life back into the body by waking up the toes and the fingertips, a little rock of the head side to side. And let's try to stretch our arms now overhead even more. Just be mindful if you're lifted a little higher up on your prop, how that feels for the shoulders. You're just extending those arms overhead. If the knees are bent and open in Baddha Konasana, float the knees up, and let's all try to straighten and stretch out the legs down the middle of our mat. You can take your prop off your belly at this point too. So we're just coming into a nice long body stretch here, point and flex the feet a couple times. If your legs are over a pillow, your feet will probably float up off the floor a couple inches. Stretch the right side of the body a little bit more. Give that left side a nice big stretch. Create as much space as we can throughout the body here. Let's take one more big breath in. Spread the fingers, spread the toes, and flex the feet, pulling all the toes towards the shin bones. On the exhale, let's float our arms back down beside the body. Step the feet in towards the body. Again, if we're lifted a little higher up, you might not be able to pull your knees towards the chest. You might just wrap your hands behind the thighs and float the feet up off the floor a little bit. If you're able to take a hold of the shin bones and it feels nice to add a little rock side to side here, go ahead and do so, giving our back a little bit of a stretch. And then we'll take the right arm beside the head and we'll roll all the way onto our right side in a fetal position into Supta Balasana, sleeping child's pose. Let the head rest on the upper arm bone and bring the left hand to the floor in front of the heart and just pause for a moment. And then look to the ground, press into the floor. It helps to straighten and extend that top leg to the front of the yoga mat. We're gonna bring ourselves all the way up. And once we come up, we're gonna have to reorganize our space probably. We are moving into a seated position. So for 99.9 of us, we will probably need to sit up on some type of prop so that we can keep our spine up. And I sit up usually on a meditation cushion that's probably 4 inches high. Pillow's not the best because it's soft and you might tend to sink a little bit into one side or the other. So a firmer prop would be ideal. If you have bolsters or yoga blocks that you want to use, you can. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my blanket today, and I already have mine folded up in a firm little square fold. So if you have a blanket, you just fold it in half again until you get a little bit of support. So this is going to be my prop that I'm going to sit up on. I'm also going to add my towel because I'm really stiff around my hips and hamstrings and low back and the rest of my body. So I need some help, especially first thing in the morning. So we'll take our seat. You want to sit up on your prop. And when you sit up on your prop, you want to sit towards the front edge of your prop. Move any flesh out of the way. So we want to feel our sit bones connected here. Now we can take Sukhasana, which is easy cross pose, just crossing at the ankles or the shins. There's some other options too. Siddhasana, depth pose is a heel to heel alignment. Any which way that feels best for your body. We want to be able, again, to sit up as tall as possible through the spine. So once we're in position, let's float the arms out beside the body. Turn the palms up to the ceiling and we'll come back to our breath here. So on the inhale, reach those arms wide and all the way up to the ceiling. Big breath in. On the exhale, turn those palms out and float the fingertips back to the floor. Moving into Upavishta Trikonasana, seated triangle pose. Draw the low belly in. Inhale, take the right arm up beside the head. Keep both sit bones rooted equally and lean over to the left. So this is lateral extension for our back. We should feel that stretch through the waist, the rib cage, and shoulder. On the inhale, use your muscles to pull yourself up through center. Switch arms. Keep that left sit bone rooted as you lean over to the right. Big side body stretch.
Again, inhale up through center. Let the head be an extension of the spine. You may rotate and look down. Keep your gaze forward or even upwards. Inhaling. And one more time over to our right. Nice big stretch. Next, inhale. Both arms will reach up to the ceiling. We'll meet here. Bring the palms to touch and exhale to our center. Those of us seated cross-legged, I invite you to switch the cross of your legs because we do tend to sit the same way. And we'll move into a flowing seated twist now. On the inhale, reach both arms up. Keep the length all the way through the crown of the head, and on the exhale, we're rotating to our right. The fingertips may float down to the opposite knee, slightly behind us. There's no weight in the hands. We're sitting up tall through the crown, but continue to exhale and twist through the neck. Open the eyes wide, peek behind the body. The inhale is going to pull us all the way back up to center again. Reach up. Exhale, rotate around the axis of the spine to the left. Fingertips float down. Keep the shoulders and the chin parallel to the floor. That front arm can reach to your opposite knee. Open the eyes wide, peek behind the body. Inhale, reach up. One more time to our right. Bring everything out. Inhale, reach up. And one more time to our left. And inhale, let's meet back in center. Both arms reach up, palms touch, exhale to center. Making another transition now to tabletop or all fours. You may crawl forward over your legs or simply give your legs a quick little stretch. And again, we'll have to rearrange our space. So we did lateral extension, we did rotation. Those are two movements we should do every day for our spine. The third movement is flexion and extension, which we're going to get into now. So we'll move ourselves around. If you need extra cushion for those knees, place your folded blanket or towel underneath the knees. Another fun little trick, if you do have a yoga mat, is to take it about midway and fold it back a few inches and then place your knees on that additional cushion. So we're turning our body into a table. The arms are the front legs and the thigh bones are the back legs. Open your hands as broad as your shoulders and really spread through the fingertips here. Stack the knees under the hips. The feet, the toes may be tucked under to stretch the feet or pointed to stretch out through those ankles. Now press into the ground. We want our muscles to be doing some of the work instead of just locking out our joints and sagging into this pose. Pull the low belly in slightly. On our inhale, we're going to relax the belly, lift the tailbone up, and lengthen all the way up the spine to the crown of the head, gazing forward into cow pose. On our exhale, we're going to pull the belly in, scoop the tailbone under, round our back up to the ceiling, tucking the chin to the chest, drishti to the belly button, and cat pose. So on the inhale, this is gentle back bend and extension for the spine. Helps to decompress the spine, really healthy if we have bulging herniated discs or prone to have that. Exhale, scoop, tuck, and round. This pose stretches the muscles of the back. So if you hold muscular tension between the shoulder blades, the low back, try to come back to your Samavritti breath, so that even and equal breath. Try to get the pelvis into this pose. On the inhales, it's an anterior tilt. On the exhales, it's a posterior tilt. You'll feel some movement around the shoulders, the neck. Good. One more round or balance yourself out. We'll come back to a neutral position. Let's tuck the toes under from here. Press into the ground, equal weight in the hands. Be mindful where the head is in space. Now, again, pulling through the low belly, keep your hips level to the floor and extend just your right foot back behind the body. So the ball of the foot is to the floor. We're just stretching out the back of that leg. We may shift our weight back through that heel as if we were trying to push the heel towards the ground, and we'll feel that stretch all the way up from the Achilles, behind the knee, maybe even a little bit into the hamstring. We're going to hold and breathe. So keep breathing here. I'm going to add an additional element. Those of us that want a little bit more strengthening for our upper body and our core, try to hover your left knee and foot from the floor. So it's like a hurdler's plank. We're about ready to dart out of those starting blocks. Deep breath in. Exhale, bring the knees back down to the ground. The hips should remain nice and level, equal weight in the hands. Same thing other side. Extend the left foot straight back from the hip, follow the foot to the floor. Now shift your weight back through that heel as if we're trying to push it to the floor. And again, we should feel a really nice big stretch, opening up the back of the knee here. Press out to the first knuckles of the fingertips to distribute some of that weight out of our wrists into the fingers. Those of us that want a little bit more, pull the belly and push into the floor, hover the right knee and foot from the floor into our runner's plank. Deep breath in. Exhale, bring both knees back down. Now we'll visit child's pose for a moment to give our low back a stretch and to take some weight out of our hands. Try to bring the big toes to touch and open those knees as wide as the mat. Now I know some of us take care of our knees here. I'm going to give you options in a moment. Try to sit those sit bones all the way back to the heels. Keeping the fingertips extended to the front corners of the yoga mat, and then melting the belly, the heart, and the head to the ground. If you're comfortable there, stay there and breathe. Keep reaching the index fingers forward, pulling the sit bones back, sinking the heart to the floor. You'll get a nice stretch through those shoulders across the lumbar spine. If the head is not touching the ground, we must support it. So you will slide your stacked fists under your forehead or your arms, whatever feels more comfortable, or your book or a prop. Those of us that take care of our knees and we're not able to sit those sit bones back to the heels, you may simply keep your hips up in the air and rest down on your forearms, bowing the head towards the ground, or take your pillow or folded blanket behind the knee crease so that when you sit back, there's not as much compression on your knees and you have some support. Balasana, nice resting pose for some of us. A nice way to stretch out that low back. This pose is a great pose to take at any time during the day before bed to help relieve stress and anxiety. If we're feeling scatterbrained or have a lot on our mind, grounding our mind down towards the ground can help. One more nice big breath here. Next inhale floats the head and the body back up to tabletop. So now we're going to get into a little bit more movement this morning. I want us to come towards the back of our mat. So go ahead and walk yourself towards the back of the mat. The toes are tucked under, the knees are still stacked underneath the hips, low bellies in, arms are straight and strong. We'll walk our hands about 1 hand's distance forward. So now the arm bones are forward at an angle. On our inhale, we're going to glide forward and we should end up in a kneeling plank. So adjust your stance if you need to. Now kneeling plank, super strong arms, pull the core in. We should be able to lift our knees up. So if you want to try it, hover your knees from the floor and we would be in a full plank position. The head gets heavy, keep it in line with the spine. On the exhale, drop the knees back down. Keep your toes tucked. We're just going to take a bow here. So I'm pulling the belly in, shifting my hips back. I'm also popping my palms up and coming to Hasta Bandha. This will help relieve pressure in the wrist. Pretend like you're holding onto 2 apples. The head doesn't need to touch the ground. On the inhale, we'll glide forward, kneeling plank. Move your drishti slightly forward. If you want to pick up those knees, do so. Exhale, knees down, hips shift back, pop the palms, bow the head. One more round, and then we're going to add on. Inhaling to plank. Exhaling to a bow. Inhale. Stay in kneeling plank for this first one. Keep the tailbone scooping underbelly in. This is a half chaturanga dandasana. Bend your elbows back beside the torso, and we are lowering all the way down onto our bellies. You try to go nice and slow, all the way down. The chin is forward. The hands are underneath the shoulders. Point the toes of the feet. Now keep your feet wider than your hips if you take care of your low back. Otherwise, glue the insides of the feet and legs to touch like the tail of a snake. On our inhale, this is back strengthening. Squeeze the muscles of the upper back, mid back, low back. Lift the chest from the floor. Tighten up the glutes as well. Pull those shoulder blades down the back. Gaze slightly forward, but keep the neck long. On the exhale, we're going to come back down. Kiss the mat. Elbows in. Tuck the toes under. Tuck the tailbone under, pull that inner belly in. We're gonna try to push our body up as we inhale, straighten the arms, kneeling plank. Exhale, take a bow, pull the belly in. Shift your hips back, lift your palms up to give your wrists a break, bow the head to the floor. Inhale, kneeling plank. Exhale, bend those elbows straight back, good. Head in line with the spine, we're coming all the way down to the belly. Chin forward, point the toes, adjust the feet wider together. Bhujangasana Cobra. Squeeze the back, lift up. Pull the shoulder blades down the back, squeeze the elbows in. Lift your hands up if you want a little bit more. Use your glutes to support the back. Exhale, hands down, kiss the mat. Tuck the toes under, tuck the tailbone under, pull the belly in. Elbows squeeze in, you're using your triceps. Inhale, push up, kneeling plank. Exhale, take a bow. We'll do one more round, and this time we will stay down, do a little bit more back stuff. Inhale, kneeling plank. Exhale, lower down with as much control as you can. Good. Chin forward, flatten out those feet. Inhale, use your back to lift the heart. Try to lift the hands. Legs are strong, glutes are active. Now we're going to try and hold and breathe. When we need to take a break, flare your elbows out, rest your head down, and just relax. So we do these a lot in my class, so my regulars have kind of built up to this, so please listen to your body. Keep using the back muscles, keep breathing. Shalabhasana, those arms now, so you're straightening your arms, palms face the floor, and you're reaching your fingertips to the heels. Crown of the head is reaching forward. Try to interweave all 10 fingers if it's available to give those shoulders a nice big stretch. One more big breath in. On the exhale, turn the head to one side. Flop the arms down beside the body, palms up, and flop your heels open and completely relax the back. If your head needs support, place your hands underneath the side of the head. And just observe. Heart rate gone up a little bit, normal, back bending, energizing poses. Again, bring the chin forward, place the hands under the shoulders. Flatten out the tops of the feet to the floor, open them up a little wider if you take care of that low back. Squeeze the back, inhale, lift the heart. Keep the crown of the head extending forward, pull those elbows in. Float the hands up, keep breathing. Reach the fingertips towards the heels, super strong back, tighten the glutes. All these poses improve our posture, really important for our spinal health. Now from here, we can keep the palms down or interweave those fingers again if it's an option. Squeeze and tighten up the right buttock even more and lift the right leg up from the floor. Ardha Shalabhasana, half locust. Exhale, lower it down. Squeeze the left side more. Inhale, lift that straight leg up from the hip. Exhale, lower down. You may repeat one more time each side, or Purna Shalabhasana, both legs will lift. Heart's lifting, crown of the head is extending forward. We're breathing, toning and strengthening the whole back side of the body. Inhale. Exhale, release. Flop to the floor. Turn the head the other direction to give your neck a counter twist. Palms up, arms flat beside the body, heels are open. Just relax. If that breathing increased, bring it back to your smooth Samavriti breath. Take a big belly breath here. On the inhale, let the abdomen inflate. It'll press into the floor and that will translate to your low back. And then exhale. Good work, y'all. Chin forward, hands under the shoulders, elbows in. Tuck the toes under. Scoop the tailbone under. Feel your inner belly, that strong abdomen. Pull away from the ground. Inhale. Try to push up. Now come back to tabletop here for a moment. So bring the knees back underneath the hips. You may rise up at any time on the fingertips if our wrists need a break into Hasta Bandha, or make two strong punching fists here. We'll take some small baby cat and cows to help stretch the back out that we just worked. Remembering that the inhale takes us into our gentle back bend, lifting, lengthening, tailbone to the crown of the head. Our exhale rounds the back. You might start off small, just move gingerly here, tucking the tailbone under, chin to chest. If you feel like you need to sit back into our child's pose to give the low back an even bigger stretch, please do so. And then we'll float back up one more time to tabletop, toes are tucked under. Hands are as wide as the shoulders, spread those fingers wide. Draw that low belly in, press into the ground, float those hips up, back, and down towards the heels, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. This might be our first downward facing dog of our day, might be our first down dog ever. If it is, you might want to come back down to your knees or child's pose at any time. Otherwise, we're going to hold this pose for several moments here. This is an inversion as well. So if you have any blood pressure or heart conditions that you take care of, be mindful of that. Internally rotate through the mounds of your index fingers and thumbs, but externally rotate those upper arm bones away from the ears. We're still drawing our shoulder blades down our back. The neck is long and loose. Drishti to the center of your mat, or even more towards the abdomen if you want to stretch out the back of the neck. Bend your knees deeply if that allows your back to get a little bit more length and a stretch. If it's hard to straighten your legs, heels are floating from the floor, that's totally normal. The heels do not need to touch. We can take our dog for a walk. So we're going to start to pedal one heel at a time, dropping that heel to the ground and bending the opposite knee. And that's going to give us another stretch up the backs of those legs. Now let's all pause for a moment. Remember to take breaks as needed. Find some stillness in this pose. Look at your feet. We want them to be as symmetrical as possible. They're a few inches apart. Heels are sinking towards the ground. Draw your belly in, drawing the belly towards the thighs. Take one more breath. Inhale, gaze forward. We're going to baby step or walk our feet to our hands and our hands to our feet. Now we may choose to stay upside down in an inversion, forward folding here, Uttanasana. If you're staying upside down, legs are strong, belly is strong to support that low back. Take a hold of opposite elbows if you'd like to release the neck and shoulders more. If you modify, like I often do for the low back, I'm going to bend the knees and place my elbows or even my hands on my thigh bones. So I'm not overstretching that low back. So totally fine to take support or choose a different variation. Take one more breath here. We are going to do our halfway lifts today. This is another way to tone and strengthen the back of our body. So on our next inhale, we will bring our hands to our ankles, our shins, or even higher. Lift the heart like we did in Cobra Pose. Pull the shoulder blades together on the back and try to flatten and iron out that back, gazing slightly forward. Good. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold, your version of it. So you might not be going back down. You might be staying more upright. Inhale, lift the heart, hands to shins or higher, strong core. Those of us that want, we will locust our arms again beside the torso. This time the palms will face each other and we'll pretend we're squeezing a beach ball back there. Exhale, fold. And one more. Inhale, halfway lift. Lift the heart, use the strength of your back, your core, your legs, locust the arms beside the body. Exhale, sit back into an invisible chair. We're moving into Utkatasana. So we're going to draw the sit bones back. The hands will start to lift forward and up. This is a powerful pose. We'll take a moment here. If we do have tension in our neck and shoulders today, our modification is Anjali Mudra in front of our heart. Now the knees are bent and the knees should be pointing forward towards the toes. Feet or hips width apart and parallel to each other. Strong core, lengthen that tailbone down, lift the heart up. Notice the breath. We'll move right into some balance work here. So focus the drishti, our focal point, on one spot in front of you and try to hover the right foot from the floor. Good. Exhale, bring it down. Try to hover the left foot from the floor. Exhale, sink it down. See if we can sit a little further back, Utkatasana, fierce pose. On the inhale, we're gonna straighten the legs, reach up, reach to the ceiling. Try to lift those heels up. On the exhale, turn your palms out, float the heels down, float the arms down. We'll go right into palm tree pose. This is another balancing pose. Inhale, turn the palms out, arms reach out and up, heels lift up. But this time, bring the palms to touch, and on the exhale, lower the heels, lower the hands to the heart center. 2 more times with the breath. Inhale, try to create as much length and lift as we can. Good. Exhale, try to slowly come down. Sometimes the lowering is the harder part. 1 more. Once we come back down, we'll meet here and we'll pause in Tadasana or mountain pose for a moment. So we'll float those arms back out beside the body. Starting with the foundation in our feet, you can look down. Again, they should be parallel to each other. Equal weight in the feet. And let's go ahead and pick up our toes today and really try to root down through the mound of our big toe and inner heel, mound of the pinky toe and outer heel. This helps strengthens the arches of the feet, which helps support the rest of the body. Unlock the knees. So we want to make sure we're not just jamming our knees backwards. The legs will be straight, but we're lifting up through the quads. Pull front body to back body, lengthen the upper buttocks down. Let's turn our palms forward today and spread the fingers. So toes can still be lifted, fingers are wide, and we can still get this nice opening through the chest. And no tension or stress in the head, the neck, the face. Just take 1 breath here, standing tall. Practicing Tadasana improves our posture. It's also the foundation for all of our other standing postures. Inhale, reach out and up. Bring the palms to touch. Exhale to our center. So we're gonna get into a couple more balancing poses. I love doing my balance, really healthy for our brain, memory, concentration. Bring the insides of the feet and legs to touch. We're gonna work into Garudasana or eagle pose. Again, I'm gonna give us lots of options, so we'll all be able to do some form of this pose today. So you're just bringing the insides of the feet and legs to touch or as close as possible. Stand tall. On the inhale, reach both arms up. On the exhale, sweep your right arm under your left arm. Now, some of us might just be taking a hold of our shoulders this morning. That's fine. You might be able to bring the backs of the hands to touch. That's great. You might be able to bring your right hand closer towards the face and then bring the palms and thumbs to touch. So our arms are wrapped up nice and tight. And in this version of Garudasana today, I want us to pull the elbows down and try to bring the fingertips, if they're in front of our face, by the tip of the nose. So we're really giving our shoulders, our upper back, a nice big stretch here. Here comes the balancing portion. Some of us will just bend the knees and sit back into a variation of Utkatasana. And stay right here today. Another option, take your right foot, I'm mirroring you, across your left foot. So both feet are still touching the ground. You're just crossing at the shin bones. You may also try to hover the right knee up, cross it over the thigh bone, and the foot floats out to the side, or you will wrap the foot behind the calf or the ankle. If you're all wrapped up, the next goal is to form a plumb line from the tip of the nose to the toes. So we might need to take our knees a little bit to the right, elbows a little bit to the left. And now we're pulling, squeezing, and breathing. If we fly out of the pose, just come back to it. For 3, 2, good, nice effort, I love it. 1, on the inhale, as gracefully as possible, we're gonna unwind everything. Step the foot back to the floor, reach the arms up, and exhale, turn the palms down, float the arms back, and pause in Tadasana. And avoiding any unnecessary movements. Keep the focus. Observe. Turn the palms out. Inhale, reach up. On the exhale, you're gonna sweep your left arm underneath the right. You may just take hold of your elbows, your shoulders, the backs of your hands. I'm all tongue-tied today. Or bring your palms to touch. And we'll try to wiggle those elbows down and in so we feel the stretching and pulling across the top of the shoulders and upper back. Fingertips underneath the nose. And then we'll sit back. And we may stay right here today. You may take that left foot and cross it over the right foot, just crossing at the shin bones, both feet to the floor. You may hover the left leg from the floor, cross it over the thigh, foot floats out to the side. Or we might be able to wrap and twist the foot behind the calf or the ankle. And then visualize that plumb line from the nose to the toes, knees a little bit to the left, elbows to the right, squeeze. Keep pulling the belly in, keep breathing. Tighten up as much as you can. So this pose works all the joints in the body. It's a natural tourniquet effect for 3, 2, 1. Inhale, try to unwind. It's okay if we fly out of it. Step the foot down, reach the arms up, big stretch. Palms out, exhale. Tadasana, pause. Inhale, turn those palms out, reach it up. This time, bring the palms to touch. One more balancing today. So eagle pose is a more of an energizing pose. We create that natural tourniquet effect, restricts our blood flow, and when we release it, all that blood rushes back out into our extremities. This next pose, hopefully, will be a little bit more calming for the body. Vrikshasana. We can keep the insides of the legs and feet close. Hover the right heel from the floor. Opening at the hip, we're gonna open the knee out to the side of the body. Again, step by step, the foot may stay down. Or we can softly bring the sole of the foot to the inner ankle or calf. Avoid placing that foot to the inside of the knee, but instead, if you wanna lift it up higher, you may reach for the foot and plant it to the inner thigh. Keep your focus on one spot. Keep that pelvis floating nice and level without sinking into one hip or the other. Lift the heart into the hands, drop the shoulders away from the ears. The face should be soft and relaxed. Option in the upper body is to extend the arms out and up. We can even take chin mudra in the hands, index finger to thumbs. Sometimes they can actually help with our balance. If we want to challenge our balance today, adding purposeful movement. Allowing the branches of our tree to blow around a little bit. Wherever we are, take one more big breath in. Now on the exhale, we'll try a slow release. Do your best. Exhaling, hands to heart. Point the knee forward. Extend the foot up. And then lower it down. Pause. Samastitihi, standing stillness. Inhale, draw a big circle. Turn your palms out, reach it up. Exhale, palms touch, come back to the heart center. Hover the left heel from the floor. At the hip, turn the knee out. So we are engaging the outer thigh to outer glute. And try to find symmetry here from your first side to this side. So if your foot was down, keep the foot down. Try to place it in the same position you had it if it's available. Still pulling in through the core, leveling out the hips, lifting the heart into the hands, shrugging the shoulders away from the ears. Nice relaxed expression on the face, soft gaze. Staying at the heart center or letting our tree grow out a little higher, adding the arms. If our tree falls over, just pick it back up. Maybe there's a wind blowing us around. Wherever we are, one more big breath in. Slow release, do your best. Exhale, hands to heart. Point the knee forward. Extend the leg out. Lower the foot. Keep your focus and concentration, no fidgeting. Inhale, breathing. Big stretch. Reach all the way up. Even looking up for more extension in the spine. Exhale, hands to heart. All right, so if we moved around a little bit, we're gonna meet back in Tadasana at the front of our mat. So we will all catch up here with the feet hips width apart. So you have a little bit of space between the feet. We're gonna stand tall, float those arms back out beside the body. And for today, let's turn those palms forward again, spread the fingers, lift those toes up for a moment, feel the energy move all the way up the legs. Feel yourself standing up against an invisible wall, nice and tall. Little exaggeration between the shoulder blades. If we need to improve our posture, we have a little bit of our rounded back going, forward head fall. This pose will help counter it. Good. Back to that breath. Inhale, reach out wide, palms are up, reach up to the ceiling, drishti to thumbs for a little bit more. On the exhale, micro bend the knees. Sweep your arms back around and down as we hinge from our hips, coming back to our forward fold. Uttanasana will all look a little different in this pose. If you're modifying, you'll stop halfway. If you want to go a little deeper, you'll reach towards the floor. Keep the belly in. Try to release the weight of the head and shoulders. Let the weight of the world just melt off of the upper body today. Next, inhale, hands to shins, lift the heart, halfway lift, squeeze the back. Good. This exhale bends the knees. We're gonna bring our fingertips to the floor as best we can and take a big step back, 1 foot at a time, and we should all end up in a plank position. Now we're gonna hold this pose because it's everybody's favorite pose. So your body should be parallel to the floor.
Now you may be in kneeling plank. So you can drop those knees to the ground. Keep those fingers spread nice and wide. If we are taking care of our wrists today, we can still do our planks. We do them on our forearms. You're gonna interweave all 10 fingers, come onto your forearms, and you can either be hovering the knees up or the knees down. So choose your pleasure. We're gonna hold for just 30 seconds today, and we're all gonna do this together. Now be mindful where your head is. Your gaze should be slightly in front of the fingertips so the neck stays long. Push those heels back if you're in full plank. Pull that belly in. Press the ground away from you. We feel a little quivering, shaking. That's good. We're waking things up this morning. Think happy thoughts. Put a smile on the face. Notice the breath. We're over halfway there. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. If you're in full plank, you may lift your hips up, shift them back, let that weight flow down the backs of the legs, coming back to Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. You may also move into a child's pose if you'd rather be there. Down dog people, take a moment, draw the belly towards the thighs. Down dog starts to feel like a resting pose after you practice lots of planks. If we're still upside down and downward facing dog, let's inhale, lift the heels up. Stretch out those feet and toes. On the exhale, drop the knees to the ground. Point the toes. We'll all meet in child's pose. So we're going to drop our sit bones back to our heels. If your knees are together, a little bit more traditional version of child's pose, you bring your upper body over the thighs, sweep the hands to those feet, and bow the head down to the ground here, relaxing the upper body over the legs. Again, if you modify for your knees, you may be back in a tabletop or on your forearms, resting there. One more breath. Bring the hands under the shoulders, tuck the chin, inhale. Let's round it up 1 vertebra at a time. Trying to sit back on the heels or transition through tabletop. We'll shift our hips over to either side, doesn't matter. Bringing the feet forward. So we'll do one seated posture here, and then we'll start to work our way back down.
So we might want to take, again, a little bit of support underneath the sit bones. So I'm going to bring my folded blanket back behind me. So I have a little bit of a wedge to help sit up taller. So if you sit flat on the floor and you're trying to straighten your legs and your body immediately does this, we need to take a lift under the sit bones. Or bend your knees up. So I'm actually going to start with my knees bent up because again, I have really tight hamstrings. It takes me a while to get them stretched out. So we're going to extend both legs forward, whether the knees are bent or straight. If you are lifted and you're straightening your legs, make sure you don't hyperextend too much behind the knees. Pull the low belly in. Bring your fingertips beside the hips or your palms down to the ground if they touch. Lift the chest and heart. Draw the shoulder blades together. Your spine should be super straight and tall. Bend your knees if you're rounding your back. And then the ears over the shoulders, shoulders over the hips. This pose is called Dandasana. Activate the feet by pulling the toes towards your shin bones, including the pinky toes. This is not an easy pose. This is really challenging for a lot of us just to sit up tall. So from here, step your right foot in towards you, planting the sole of the foot in line with the sit bone. Keep that left foot nice and strong. This is Marichyasana C pose, a seated twist. Take a hold of your right shin bone with your hands and use that as a little bit of a prop to help sit up even taller. Now take the right fingertips behind the body. Do not lean into that hand. You're pushing the ground away from you to sit up even taller. Wrap the left arm around the right shin bone and try to hug it towards the body as we breathe and rotate to our right. So you're turning the upper body to the right, hugging the knee and thigh bone in. We'll take that twist all the way up the spine through the neck and peek over our right shoulder as much as possible. Remember, press the ground away from you so the spine stays tall. If you forgot about that left leg in front of you, reactivate it. Flex the toes to the shin bone. Our left leg is working as an anchor for the body. Open those eyes as wide as possible. Look to the furthest point behind the body. Take one more deep breath in. On our exhale, we'll unwind. So we'll bring the head and the body to face forward. Cactus those arms, our elbows are bent, floating out beside the shoulders, and take a little bow to the left. Not very big, we're just doing a little countering for that twist. Inhale, sit up. Gaze forward, stretch the right leg out. Fingertips or palms beside the body, lift the heart, draw the shoulders away from the ears. Strong legs, strong feet, belly in, Dandasana, staff pose. Now step that left foot in, heel in line with the sit bone. Take a hold of that shin bone and use it to try to sit up even taller. Keep your right leg strong and active. Take the left fingertips behind the body. Press the ground away from you. Wrap the right arm around that shin bone. Sit up tall. And then start to breathe and gently rotate to the left. So we should feel this rotation, especially from the mid-back up through the thoracic vertebra. And keep rotating through the neck, open the eyes wide, use that peripheral vision to see how far we can see. Keep hugging that knee into the body. Right leg should be strong and active. Toes flex towards the shin bone. Good. Take one more deep breath in. Exhale, take your time to unwind the head, the shoulders, and the body faces back forward. Cactus those arms up. And then bow over to the right. Just a little tiny bow, stretch out the back. And then inhale, we'll bring it back up. We'll extend the left foot forward and come off of our prop that we were seated on and clear our space. So it is time to come down onto our back. Safest way to come onto our back is to kind of roll over to one hip and walk yourself down and then roll onto the back. If you want to do the slow roll down today with me, we can. This will work our core a little bit more. Have space behind you. Plant the soles of the feet to the floor. And then let your knees open wider than your hips so the hip flexors don't do all the work. Draw the belly in, reach the fingertips forward, We try to slowly come down one vertebra at a time, rolling through the sacrum, the lumbar, all the way up the spine. When the head touches down, we're all going to reach our arms back overhead, straighten the legs out down the middle of the mat, and come back into that long body stretch. Point and flex the feet, move a little bit side to side. Big breath in, spread the fingers and toes. On the exhale, let's float our arms down, walk the feet in. So loosen up the clothing. If you have ponytails, you need to move them out of the way so the back of the head is grounded. Pull the belly in and draw the knees in. And just give your low back a little massage here. Take the hands behind the thighs, extend the legs straight up to the ceiling. Waterfall pose. Pressure thigh bones into those hands. Take your hands, give your hamstrings a vigorous massage up and down, create some heat and circulation into those muscles. And then holding back onto the thighs. Try flexing the feet at first, lining up all the toes. And then try pointing the toes straight up to the ceiling. So this is another inversion. This pose is usually a calming pose for us. So again, it helps release and reduce tension, anxiety, depression. It also aids in sleep. So if you have insomnia or trouble sleeping, this pose is often called legs up the wall pose because you can do this against a wall, just scooching the buttock up the wall or towards the wall and then sliding your legs up a wall. From here, hold the outer thighs. We're moving into Supta Konasana. This will be a big inner thigh groin muscle stretch. So move mindfully. Open the legs into a V. The upper arm bones can come to the ground and you can support the weight of your legs with your hands. Roll the ankles a few times. Now again, flex the feet, press your heels out. Try to open up the eyes of the knees if you want to intensify the stretch. Move the hands to the inner thighs if you want even more, and we can give those muscles a little bit of a massage, pressing those heels out. Keep your shoulders relaxed down, low back to the ground. Big breath in. On the exhale, squeeze those legs up to the ceiling. Bend the knees. Hug those shins into the body, or hands to shins, hugging the knees into the body. Float the nose to the knees for a bigger stretch for the upper back. Now relax the head back down. Keep the knees bent and parallel the feet to each other. Extend the arms straight up from the shoulders, palms down. Moving into a spinal twist. As we exhale, bring both knees over to the right. Now, if the knees do not easily come down to the ground, take your pillow under that right thigh. Our shoulders should remain grounded, so we want that left shoulder to stay down. Place the right hand on top of the left thigh if we want to deepen the twist. And then the head may turn to the left, even closing the eyes at this point, slowing the breathing down as we come to the end of our practice today. Relax the face, the throat. Let the weight of the shoulders sink into the ground. One more breath in our twist. Next inhale, float the head back up to center. Bring the knees back up. You can bring one knee at a time if that feels better. You might need to do a little scooching to realign the head with the spine, give that back a little rock. Knees together, feet parallel, arms out like airplane wings. Exhale, let the knees fall to the left. Use your prop under the thigh for support as needed. Right shoulder stays grounded, sink it to the floor. Left hand on the top of that thigh to deepen the twist. And then the head turns to the right, the eyes can close. Slow, deep breathing, bringing everything out. One more breath in the pose. The inhale will bring the head and the knees back up to center. Again, realign everything, rock it out. If you feel like you need to do another movement or anything else for your body before we take final Shavasana and relaxation, you may. Maybe we need a little happy baby in our life, bringing the soles of the feet up to the ceiling, knees open wide, fingertips to the toes, more hip opening. Maybe we want to reach those arms across our shin bones, bringing the nose up to the knees to give our back a bigger stretch. And then we'll all eventually work into final relaxation. So this last pose can be exactly where we started today, with that long rectangular fold of a blanket or towel under the spine supporting the head and a pillow underneath the legs. Adding those extra props can help the body relax. Even placing items on top of the body. So if you have that blanket nearby, place it on top of the body. That additional weight and warmth will help the body relax. Make sure the head is comfortable. Add extra layers of your chili socks and coverings. Adjust the shoulder blades under the body. And get as comfortable as possible. So Shavasana, final relaxation, our most important pose we can practice. And we do practice this pose. So we put as much effort into this posture as every other pose we practice today. So for today, I'm gonna do a little bit of guided relaxation, give us several moments of peace and quiet. And then I'll use my singing bowl to bring us out of Shavasana, where we will finish class together today. So take a moment to make any adjustments you might need to with your body, your surroundings. Poof the cheeks up with air, swallow a couple times, yawn. Relaxing the mouth, the tongue, and the jaw. Find the very back center of the skull. Adjust the shoulders. Let the arm bones roll open beside the body, turning the palms up to the ceiling and relaxing the fingertips. Let the low back sink into the ground. Relax the belly completely. Maybe noticing a subtle rise and fall of the belly with the breath. Relax the larger muscles around the hips, the buttocks, and the thighs. And then let that relaxation flow like water all the way down the legs, through the knees, down into the ankles, the feet, and the toes. Relax all the tiny little muscles across the face, unfurling the brow. Relax the eyebrow center. Let the eyes sink into the sockets. With the lips softly touching, release the tongue and lower jaw to gravity. The breath becomes easy, quiet, and calm. And if the mind wanders or becomes distracted, gently bring it back to this peaceful breath Giving ourselves permission to let go, to feel a sense of surrender, and to sink into Shavasana. So we'll very gently start to come back to the breath and start to breathe life back into the body, waking up the toes, wake up the fingertips, rock the head side to side. Nice deep breath in. Let's re-extend those arms overhead into our long body stretch. Point and flex the feet a couple times. Stretch out the whole right side. Stretch out the left. One more big breath in here. Spread the fingers, spread the toes. On the exhale, we'll float our arms back down beside the body. Step the feet in. Draw the belly in and try to hug our knees in. Massaging out that low back. Taking the right arm beside the head, rolling all the way onto our right side, back into that fetal position, pausing here for a moment. The head rests on the arm, the left hand can fall to the floor in front of the heart. And then keeping the eyes closed or soft, we'll press down to the ground. We'll bring the body back up and we will revisit any comfortable seated posture and take just a couple more breaths together today. Find those sit bones, sit up as tall as possible. And being mindful of our surroundings, float those arms back out beside the body. Turn the palms up to the ceiling. Taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. Let's float those arms all the way back up to the ceiling. And gathering up everything we need for the rest of our day. Turn the palms out, big breath out, float the fingertips all the way back down to the ground, letting go of all that other junk we don't need today. And then one more time. Inhale, reach up. This time, bring the palms to touch and exhale the hands back to our heart center, humbly bowing the head down to our heart to honor and thank ourselves, our bodies, each other, and remembering to be grateful to anyone else that made it possible for us all to come together today and practice our yoga together. If you'd like to join me in chanting the Om Shanti mantra, please do so. Otherwise, just sit with the breath for a moment, taking a deep breath in to begin. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Tat Sat.